let's get this started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Nursepreneurs Strategy Conquer Real Estate. This is our second webinar. If you were with us during last month's webinar, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Nancy, Fran, and I are very, very thrilled to have you with us on Tuesday evening. I almost say Wednesday evening again. I don't know why. What is it with the Wednesday? But really, very thrilled to have you. We're going to be talking about multifamily versus single family investing. Can you guys put in the chat if you were with us during last month webinar? Put 1 if you were with us. Put 2 if you knew. This is your first time. So we kind of, gauging, who knew and who knew and who with us before.
Brianna, welcome. Thank you. Welcome back.
Welcome, Melissa.
Welcome, Melissa.
So we have mix, right? 1 and 2.
True, welcome back. Our #1 fan.
So again, if you're the first time, welcome. If you're this is your second time with us, welcome back. We had a very great feedback from our last webinar. Thank you so much for all the feedback that we received from you guys, and thank you so much for you guys that DMs us and want to chat with us. The feedback that we got from you that you want to learn more about multifamily versus single family investing. That's why today we're going to be focusing on that. So let's get this fun started.
So this is our disclaimer. The information presented in this presentation is only for educational and informational purposes only. This is not a solicitation for any specific deal. And we always advise that prospective investors, we always advise that prospective investors do their due diligence and advise legal and tax attorneys.
Stop laughing, Nancy.
I'm sorry. I guess Pat's a little bit nervous because we were having technical issues before we started our presentation. So who are we? If you guys joined us last month, thank you again for joining us one more time. You know that Pat, Fran, and I are nurses. We've been nursing for a while already, especially Pat and I have been nursing for over 10 years. And we have a passion for investing in real estate. The 3 of us have invested in mentorship programs, have invested in learning about real estate investing and all its benefits. We are on a mission to guide fellow healthcare professionals, other nurses, to a journey to financial independence through savvy real estate investments. Our goal is to make real estate accessible and understandable and profitable for other nurses and other healthcare professionals.
So let's go over the Nursepreneurs agenda for today. Like Nancy mentioned, as nurses, healthcare professionals like us, we typically dedicate our time and energy to caring for others. But sometimes, we forgot to prioritize our own financial well-being. So we know that the real estate investment offering that potential passive incomes, wealth accumulation, portfolio diversification beyond the traditional savings and retirement accounts. That's why in this presentation, we're going to be exploring more about how multifamily and single family investing can be the key to unlock your financial freedom. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of each approach. And we're going to give you guys a case study, one for single family and one for multifamily investment. And the most favorite topic of the day is our Nursepreneur strategies. We're going to be talking about a strategy that ideal for BC nurses and healthcare professionals like us in investing real estate.
So why is it that we invest into real estate? It's because historically real estate has outperformed an average savings account by a lot. So let's say you have $100,000 in a savings account. Over a year, you'll be yielding about 0.06%, meaning that you'll make $60 on $100,000 for the year. as opposed to if you were to invest that same $100,000 into real estate, you'll make a return of about 7 to 12% annually, putting you at $7,000 to $12,000 a year.
So what is a single family property? Can you guys put in the chat if anybody here owns a single family property? So a single family property is a standalone residential building designed to house one family. It is a detached home that has no shared walls with neighbors, and it does include townhouses and condominiums. For the most part, we all start our real estate with owning a single family home.
So what is multifamily properties? Is anyone here own multifamily property or properties? Can you share with us if you already the owner of multifamily properties? So family property is multi-unit dwellings or apartment buildings. It can be a small duplexes, triplexes, up to the large apartment complexes. Typically in a large apartment complexes, there's multiple way that you can acquire that type of investment, but syndication model is one of the common one that we use.
So investing in single family and multifamily both have its pros and cons. So I'm going to start by reviewing the pros to single family investing. For first, you have a lower upfront cost. Typically with a single family home, you're able to use the FHA, which allows you to put down a 3.5%. You also have a simpler management expectation because you have less units compared to a multifamily. It's less property to maintain. And then you also have more control of your property, being that you're the sole investor. All responsibility lays on you.
Now let's go over some of the cons of investing in single family real estate. First, you have the risk of higher vacancy. If you guys have one single family real estate investment property, and for whatever reason you're not able to lease it, your resident leaves and you don't get someone in quickly, you automatically are at 100% vacant. With single family investing, you also have higher expenses. You depend on just a one income stream for the expenses. And if you're 100% vacant, you're not having any money coming in. So you're responsible for all the expenses that come with owning real estate. It is harder to scale with single family investing. Yes, you absolutely can get to 10 units, one single family home at a time, but it is much easier to do a 5-plex and another 5-plex. You get faster to the 10 units with multifamily. Another con of owning or investing in single family real estate is the personal liability that comes with it. For the financing options, it runs on you, it runs on your credit, so it depends on your financials. Also, if, God forbid, something happens, a resident gets injured, falls, you name it, they can come and sue you, and it's gonna be your responsibility, not only on your personal belongings, but if you own any other real estate, they can come after your assets as well. It has higher turnover cost. And one of the biggest cons with investing in single family real estate is the market dependency. I do want to point out that although duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes are considered multifamily, in real estate investing, they're still in the single family class, which means that they are also market dependent. And what do we mean by market dependency? Let's say you have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home, and your neighbor also has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. Your neighbor gets caught in a financial crisis. They need cash fast, so they decide to sell their home for a much lower cost than what it's actually valued at. Your neighbor doing that affects the value of your property as well. So that's one of the biggest cons with single family investing. It depends on what other homes are valued or being sold for. That's the value of your property will get.
So now let's go over the pros of multifamily investing, why we love multifamily so much as a nursepreneur. The first pro is, economies of scale. So think about, like Nancy mentioned, in single family, if you want to own 10 doors, you have to buy 10 single families to reach that goal. But in the multifamily, you can buy, 10 units under one roof. So it's easier and faster that you can scale with the multifamily. Another things is you have to, like, the expenses that you put toward day-to-day operation in multifamily, it's shared among the residents. So that reduce the burdens of the on the investor side as well. Multifamily investing, we typically use professional management company that has a great track record, but also you can use the professional management company in single family. But keep in mind that the larger of your portfolio, the more diligent the professional management company is going to be, because they're going to have more revenue coming in when managing a larger portfolio. So that's what the beauty part of the multifamily with the professional management company. Another pro is in multifamily investing, your income stream will be more diversified. Like Nancy mentioned, in single family, if your resident move out, you lost an income at 100%. But if in multifamily, you have 50 units apartment complex, for example, and you have one resident who moved out, you still have income coming in for another 49 residents that paying monthly rent. Another beauty part of multifamily investing is it's not market dependent. So we don't care if John Doe, who owned the apartment next door, sell his apartment for $1 million less than the value, right? Our value based on the income that we bring in, based on the money, how much money that you bring in. So that's the beauty part of multifamily, that we don't care what John Doe gonna do, but we're gonna managing our property the best we can.
So what are some of the cons of investing in multifamily? There is a higher upfront cost, being that we're buying property that's $3, $4, $5, $10 million. We do have to come up with a down payment that's a lot bigger. But that's where we come in as nurses and we pull our money together. We're able to put down more and acquire more together. There's also a management intensity because we have more property. There's more to oversee. There's more work to be done as far as managing tenants and screening and maintaining the property. But we rely on a professional team that has an extensive track record that's able to take care of the property for us because they already have the experience and the business plan in place to do so.
So let's go into some numbers. With single family real estate investing, there's different strategies that you can do. You can do a short-term investing, Airbnbs, furnished finders, you name it. You can do mid-term rentals. You can do fix and flips. You can do wholesaling. There's different strategies. House hacking is another option as well. This specific scenario here, we are going to focus on a long-term rental. So let's say you have a single family home in Dallas, Texas, 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $240,000. Because this is an investment property, your down payment is going to be higher than using a first-time home buyer. So your down payment would be 25%, which would be $60,000, leaving your loan amount at $180,000. You do have to do a little bit of renovations to increase the monthly rent to bring it up to market value. So you estimate that you will be spending $10,000 in renovations. You get a good term for 30 years at 7% interest rate, making your estimated monthly mortgage payment a little bit over close to $1,200 a month. Of course, we need to pay taxes, let's say $350 a month, and insurance, which we would say $100 a month. You need to take into account your monthly recurring expenses, which can include landscaping or pest control, you name it, right? Have always a little buffer just in case something breaks and you need to replace it. This would bring your total monthly costs, adding your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, your expenses, to $1,800 a month. You can rent this home for $2,300. So to calculate your monthly cash flow, you would subtract your total monthly costs from your monthly rental income, which would leave you with $452 a month. To get your annual cash flow, you will multiply that by 12 months, and you would be at $5,424 annually. To calculate what your return on investment is, you would have to add your down payment and your renovation costs, which is $70,000. Then you would divide your annual cash flow by $70,000 and multiply it by 100, which would be a 7.75%. So you would be getting 7.75 cash on cash return on your initial investment. Something that you cannot achieve with your traditional savings. Yes, I know there's some high yield savings account, but it's still, this 7.75% is more than a traditional high yield savings account. Now, let's say that for whatever reason, you could not rent this home for 2 months out of the year. That would bring down your yearly cash flow to $4,520. To calculate the ROI in a 10-month period, you would do the same, which would be your annual cash flow divided by your initial investment, which is the $70,000, and multiply it by 100. That would bring down your return on investment to 6.45%, which is still not bad. But just keep in mind with single family investment, the longer you go without having a tenant or a resident in your property, the lower your return on investment will be.
Now let's talk about the multifamily property investment case study. Let's see, Nancy, Fran, and I found a good deal on the 50 units apartment complex in Dallas, Texas, with the purchase price of $5 million. Typically in multifamily property investment, the loan, down payment on the loan is going to be higher than the single family property investment. In this case, we'll say about 35%, which bring the down payment to roughly around $1.75 million. Subtracted by the purchase price, our loan amount will be around $3.25 million at the 6.5% interest rate, 30 years loan term. That bring our monthly mortgage payment estimated to be around $20,575. Usually when we look for the multifamily property, we look for the property that have, that we can do a value add. Right? We can do, upgrade on, the complex in general, upgrade on the unit. So that's why we need to put the money aside for renovation and other fees as well, just like closing costs, for example. So let's see the fees that we estimate to be around $250,000. That bring our total initial investment, which is including the down payment with renovation costs and the fees, to be around roughly $2 million. Remember, this is a 50-unit apartment complex. We do market research. We do, look at the rent comparable to the other apartment complex that have the similar units that we have. So we think we can rent this apartment to be roughly around $1,400 per unit. That bring our monthly income to be around $70,000. But remember, we need to put money aside toward the operating expenses. Usually we try to put at least 50% toward that, which bring our monthly cash flow to be around $35,000. And again, we have to subtract that with our mortgage payment as well. If we were to rent this apartment at 100% occupancy, that bring our annual cash flow to be around $173,100 at the 8.655% ROI, which is a lot higher than the single family and a lot higher than the high yield saving and other investment that you see out there. How about if we don't get 100% occupancy? For example, if we buy the apartment today, right? We have 10 units that vacant that bring only 80% of occupancy. 10 units that we might do an upgrade, make it more like a premium unit, so we can raise rent, for example. Even if with the monthly rental income at 80% occupancy, is still pretty good, $56,000. 50% go toward the operating expenses, go toward the mortgage payment. That bring our monthly cash flow after the mortgage at the 80% occupancy to be around $7,425. Times that by 12 to get an annual cash flow to be roughly around $89,100. The ROI is 4.455%. Remember, 80%, we upgrade, that's so much potential we can do within the 10 unit that vacant to be able to raise the rent. But I know you gotta look at the total initial investment money and say, holy crap, like how are we gonna have the $2 million, right? To put toward the down payment and the renovation and the fees. That's when the Nursepreneurs Strategy comes into the picture.
So what is our Nursepreneur Strategy? It's nurses like you and I, we get together, we pull our money and we put it as a down payment, we put it towards renovation costs, just as Pat said, and together we're able to acquire more. Together we're able to create a wealth of income where we don't have to work as hard for our money, and it's literally our money working for us. We don't have to be there doing the ins and outs of a daily operation. We don't have to screen tenants. We rely on a professional management team that can do that for us. And together we can scale bigger and we can scale faster. So that is our Nursepreneur Strategy.
So here are some tips for other nurses, other healthcare professionals like us. Invest in real estate. That's the biggest tip that we're going to give you today. Whether it be single family real estate investing or multifamily real estate investing, whether you want to be an active investor, which means you're hands-on, you're managing your portfolio, you're very active, you're dealing with the tenants, the toilets, the termites, with everything that comes with owning real estate, or whether you want to be a passive investor through the Nursepreneur Strategy, letting other professionals take care of everything and partnering with like-minded nurses and healthcare professionals. It's up to you, right? Just our goal is to get more nurses investing in real estate. But the beauty of investing passively and investing in multifamily with other healthcare professionals, with other nurses, with experts who take care of everything, is that it gives you the opportunity to do with your time what it is that you love to do, whether it be going out with your family, going out on a vacation, just doing nothing, enjoying reading a book, whatever it is. You have time to do that without having to add more to your already busy schedule. It's not, you don't have to make it a second job, because our nursing career is already heavy as it is. We already do our 36, 48, 60 hours a week. We don't need to add more. And I'll tell you, that is something that I do right now, because we do self-manage some of our properties, but we have a lot of support from our family here as well. But it's another full-time job to own real estate, to invest in real estate. Now, the Nursepreneur Strategy offers you the opportunity to be completely hands-off. You can invest passively, get some stable cash flow, long-term appreciation, reduce management responsibilities, and not have to worry about it.
We love that beauty, isn't it? Now let's talk about some actionable steps for the passive investor. Nancy, Fran, and I always encourage our passive investors to do your own due diligence. That's the steps to take, including first step is to evaluate your investment goals. What is your risk tolerance? Any resource that you have that that can help you determine what type of investment approach is most suitable for you. Another step you can take is to, when you have investment opportunity presented to you, you can evaluate their track record, what their investment strategy, what the risk profile, and what is projected return of that specific investment opportunity. Another step you can take is consider partnering with the experienced investor, joining the investment group, joining the Nursepreneur Concur Real Estate group. Use the talk to the people that more specialize in this type of investment, leverage the expertise, and that's gonna help reducing the potential risk of investment as well. Another thing you can do is consulting with your financial advisors and any real estate professionals who specialize in investment, passive investment, to make sure that that asset, that investment opportunity is suitable for your portfolio. Remember, guys, trust but verify.
So what are some of the key takeaways that we want you guys to learn today and keep with you from this webinar? So first, we want to start that single family is a good investment, and it does offer lower upfront costs. It's a simpler way to manage, being that it's less units, and you do have more control, but also remember that a lot of the responsibilities lie on you, and it is you who has to answer those phone calls when things go wrong. With multi and single family property investment, you have the advantages that you have the advantage to rely on other nurses and healthcare professionals if you do it through a syndication, meaning like the Nursepreneurs Strategy. Multifamily properties provide an economy of scale, meaning that you can scale quicker, scale faster. It's a way to diversify your streams of income, meaning that you don't have to just rely on your W-2 to make some money. And for investors, it's easier to rely on other healthcare professionals so that you can make the most amount of money possible for you and your family if investing it passively is what you're looking to do. And we present more opportunities for investing in real estate for you.
We have a private Facebook group called Nursepreneur Conquer Real Estate. We would love for any of you who have not joined us yet to join us. You can scan the QR code here and it'll take you straight to our Facebook group. Pat, Fran, and I will be sharing our journey there. We share our stories, our wins, and our losses as well, because it's life, right? There's gonna be wins and there's gonna be losses as well. But we will be sharing our experiences with you. We will make ourselves available as well. If you guys have any questions, you feel free to go and share there. Your own journey you can share as well. We just want to inspire other nurses, other healthcare professionals to start their investing journey. So transform your financial future with nursepreneurs who walk in your shoes. You guys know we still have a W-2. We're still nurses. We're nurses at our core, but we know the beauty of investing in real estate. And we want to share this with other nurses and healthcare professionals.
So in addition to our private first Facebook group, we also encourage you guys to book a one-on-one call with us. So we can go more like a deep dive on, what your investment strategies, what is the type of investment that's specific to you. So that you see the QR code on the screen that was sent you straight directly to our Calendly link. So book the call with us. We want to get to know you, and I want you to get to know us as well. So, just get into the personal level, talk about money, our favorite topics, and, we learn about each other. So that's why we're here for you guys. So Nancy, let's get this ready for some questions.
Yes, if anybody has any questions, we will open it up for questions right now. Feel free to raise your hand or type a question in the chat or send us direct messages if you're shy. It's okay. We will read the question and stay with you. Um, and yeah, thank you so much for joining us and for being here. We appreciate
Yes, we appreciate.
your time.
I just want to know, any of nurses or healthcare professionals that join us today are in Jersey or New York area? Is any one of you guys in that area?
Brianna's from New Jersey. She works with me.
Oh, Brianna.
So Nancy and Pat are going to be coming at the end of the month, and hopefully we can all get together.
Yes, we'll be hosting a little meetup the end of June. So hopefully you can join us, Brianna, and bring a coworker or two with you as well. We can talk a lot more about real estate. Okay.
Yeah, we love webinar, but then we also love, like, in-person meeting more, right? To get to like more, direct
get to
face
know
to
each
face,
other.
yeah, to know each other.
Fran, iPhone, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Asked, what is a typical investment?
Investment amount or a typical investment?
Yeah, like what's the what is a typical, do everybody go in on something together, or sorry, I'm listening on my phone and so I don't have you on my computer because I was running around, but
So the minimum investment amount is $50,000, and you can invest up to whatever your heart desires, whatever you're capable of. But
It
yeah,
depends.
the minimum is a $50,000 deposit, and you're able to partner up with other people if you want to start an LLC and have your profits come in through an LLC, just to protect yourself from liability personally. And you don't have to be the only person on that LLC or making the initial deposit.
Yeah, so there's many steps we can take, many options. So I think we can go over more, right, during our next webinar about, syndication.
Yeah, we'll also be talking about accredited investing in one of our webinars. I'm not sure it's going to be the next one or the one after, but we'll talk about how you can become an accredited investor, and it saves it. Well,
Okay,
how do,
minimum investment, $50,000. It can vary, right? It depends on the size of a deal as well. Sometimes if you're buying a $20 million property, the minimum investment will be higher because it's gonna take a lot more people to come together if everybody's coming in at $50,000. So then the minimum investment might be higher, $100,000. If it's a smaller property, let's say a 3 million property, then the minimum investment could possibly be $25,000. It just depends on the whole team, right? On what we agree and what is like better for everybody as a whole. And it just goes from there. So it varies from deal to deal. Now, what Fran was mentioning about accredited investors, with the syndication model, there is two different types. They fall under the Reg D. So it'll be a 506B or a 506B. When it's a 506C, you have to be an accredited investor. But like Fran said, we will have an upcoming webinar with more deep diving into a syndication and what it means to be an accredited and non-accredited investor, and being able to invest in a 506B versus a 506C deal as well.
But I don't want you to, look at that picture like of 25,000, 50,000. Oh my God, it's a lot of money. Book the call with us so we can break it down to, a smaller, like bite size, to make it more like easier to understand. It's harder to cover everything in, an hour webinar, but we, like I mentioned, that you can book the call so we can get to learn more about you and what your, goals, so we can talk about specific investment type that that like most fit for your strategy and your goals.
We have another
Depends on-
question in the chat. Sorry, Fran, were you saying something?
No, it's fine. We can go to the question. It says, do you guys divvy it up, do you guys divvy it up separately depending on how much individuals invest? So I'm assuming she's talking about the returns. So on the returns, it's a percentage. You have percentage ownership depending on the amount of money that's put down as the initial investment.
For the returns, let's say, Brianna, you invest $50,000, Rosie invests $100,000, Melissa invests $200,000. I'm just throwing out numbers and picking names here from my screen. The return, if we present you an investment opportunity, but let's say the 50 units in Dallas, Texas, we are projecting that we can get a 7% cash on cash return. It's going to be 7% for the most part, for 7% for the 50,000, 7% for the 100,000, 7% for the $200,000. There are some scenarios, there are some teams that will do waterfall structures. So if somebody invests, let's say $250,000 or above, then they get a little bit higher return. They'll bump up to 8% return, right? Sometimes there is waterfall structures, but whenever we do present an investment opportunity, we will go over all the details and we will have a specific webinar for that specific investment opportunity. Hopefully that answered your question. Great questions, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we hope we got to see Brianna in person. I don't want to put you on the spot, Brianna, but you're the only one in Jersey.
She's the Jersey
I would
girl.
love to.
So,
I'm sorry, guys. I would be all up in the questions right now, but it'd probably be better with when my kids are asleep.
I'll bring your question, that day when we meet in person,
For
just
sure.
write your question down and, we're happy to answer them and, talk to you in person.
Perfect.
We love questions. We want to have more questions because the more questions you ask, the more informed you are, the better you position yourself to make a sound and smart investment for you that's beneficial for you, right? So always good. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Well, maybe in nursing there is.
No question is stupid question.
we have another question in the chat. It says, are returns typically distributed monthly or when?
That's another great question as well. And it's going to go back to, it depends on the deal itself. There's going to be a lot of variables, but whenever you do get on a specific deal or you're presented a specific opportunity, all of those questions will be answered. But typically, I am invested in 2 different syndications. Oh, actually, both of them are paying on a monthly basis right now. But there are sometimes operators or teams that will make distributions on a quarterly basis. So every 3 months. Another great
Do you
question.
sell after a certain number of years?
Do you sell after a certain number of years?
So the answer is yes. There is an exit strategy, and the typical hold period is 5 to 7 years, depending on what the market is. If it's a seller's market, it'll be wise to sell at that time. And it also depends on how the property is performing. If it has high cash flow and the team wants to keep it because it's very profitable, then they'll keep it for an extra few years. But it is designed to have an exit strategy where you make the most amount of money at that time.
Yeah, if we not decide to keep it, we can do so many things with it. We can refinance, so many things that we can do with it. But like Fran mentioned before, we take on any investment properties, we have exit strategies in mind already that we plan.
We did have our last webinar, mini introduction to multifamily syndication. So if you guys weren't able to join us, you weren't able to register or did not receive the recording, just send us a message. Send Pat, Fran, or I a message, text, email, or on Facebook.
DMs, yeah.
Yeah, DM, we can send you the recording. It breaks down a little bit more the syndication, how it works, how we go from the beginning, doing the due diligence, finding a property, and it just takes us through the whole experience. A brief
Yeah.
summary, but it's very informative, and we can share that with you guys as well.
We have another question in the chat. It says, how are decisions for necessary renovations made or decisions to sell? So how are decisions made in our syndication model?
So I think it's circled back to deal specific, right? Depend on what properties we have, and like Nancy mentioned during last webinar, we breaking down a little bit more about how we take on the deals. We do underwriting, you know, very conservative and thorough underwriting. So we kind of projected already, you know, what type of renovation we're going to be doing and to bring the value of property up. And the decision to sell, just like Fran mentioned, depend on that market that we in that current time. To see, we might project that we're going to sell within 5 years, but maybe 5 years up, and then, you know, we decide that that might not be a good time to sell, then we might do refinance, or we might plan to keep property a little bit longer to kind of bring the value up.
Yeah, and for renovations, it's something that's very transparent upfront.
Yeah.
With the underwriting, we know exactly how many units it is that we want to renovate them, when we're going to renovate them, how much we are going to invest to renovate them, how long it'll take to renovate. So it's something that's very transparent at the beginning of the investment opportunity when it is presented to potential investors.
Yes.
And
So
Rose
before
said she,
I'm sorry, Fran. Yes.
sorry, no, continue.
I was just going to reply that I will email it. I'll email you the first Zoom meeting, Rosie. And just to add to Melissa's question about how our decisions for the renovations made and to sell, when we're looking for the property and then we find one that looks promisable, that looks profitable, that looks good, then we go into the whole, let's create a business plan, what it is that we're going to do with this specific property. There's a lot of behind the scenes action that takes place, a lot of market research, walking the property, doing a market survey with other properties around that are around the same age, the same unit type, and the same amenities. And then we go from there, right? The goal is to find a property that is like the ugly duckling of the neighborhood, right? All the other properties are already improved, are nice. They have market rents that are much higher. So then we look for a property that is much lower, that we can go and add some value to it. We put a little bit of TLC into it, do some renovations, and bring the rents up to market value. But it goes back to the market research and all the behind the scenes action, right? What do we have to do to this apartment complex so that we can charge not necessarily the same amount of rent, but close to the rent? Oh, well, they have stainless steel appliances. Well, then we need to add some stainless steel appliances. Or they have a dog park and we don't have a dog park. Maybe we can add that as well, right? Or if
Yeah,
you know, add some curb appeal, make it look nicer because it hasn't been painted or it hasn't been cleaned, whatever it is. That's how we go based off the renovations.
and the beautiful thing about doing this is that not only are we monetarily profiting, we're also helping the community improve. We're also helping create healthy and beautiful homes for residents that are deserving of what they're paying for. So it's a great way to also give back to a community that probably needs it because it's undermanaged and underserved.
Yeah, our goal is to make the residents happy, right? To so they can stay with us for a long time. So the same thing with passive investor, active investor like us, we do like very thorough due diligence as well before we take on any deal.
I love that you brought that up, Fran. Thank you.
Yeah.
Really does make a difference. We're improving other people's home, right? I grew up renting, so I know what it is, right? To have a good landlord or not a good landlord, right? So we find properties that are mismanaged and yeah, we go and make their homes much better. So, and I've experienced it first time. So it's a beautiful feeling.
It's the compassion in nursing. We're able to show so many different ways, not just healthcare.
Any other questions at all? True's quiet today.
Have a question for us, True?
He said no question.
Thank you so much. These were really great questions. We appreciate everybody being here. We know that everybody's time is valuable. Like, we cannot stress that enough. So we appreciate you being here, and props to you for being here, taking that first step in just learning, right? There's no commitments here with us. We're not gonna be spamming your email either. You know, like I don't like that. I know that there's people out there that give a lot of free courses and then they start selling you another thing. We don't do that. We have nothing to sell. We just want to share our knowledge and give this opportunity to other nurses and healthcare professionals. So if you guys know any other nurse, any other healthcare professional, RT, PT, OT, ST, you name it, invite them. We will be hosting webinars every month. What day, Pat?
Tuesday. Tuesday. You're saying it's
first-
Wednesday. The
first
first Tuesday
Tuesday.
of the month.
First Tuesday of every month, rain or shine. So next month, or at the end of this month, Pat and I are going to Jersey to visit Fran, and I will be in New York, but I will be there to give the webinar. And then the following month in August, I will be on a trip to the Arctic, somewhere in Canada, but I will be hosting the webinar with the girls as well. So we're here for you.
Yes, definitely. So hope to see you guys
Awesome
again
times.
during the next webinar. But
Bye, guys. Thanks,
bye.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank